G'day guys, I'm Greg and welcome back to my train room. Big news, the wedding is finally over, which means a couple of things for me. I am now a honest man and also means I get my train table back. So first things first, let's get all this cleared away. How good's that? We have a nice big workspace to start planning the next section of the layout. So I think the next step is track. Rightio, let me show you what I'm planning for this area. So this is my new blank slate, and there's two things that I knew I wanted on here. A loop for running in and testing of locomotives, and a yard for eventually storing all the stuff that won't fit in Sydney Terminal when I get more rolling stock. And this yard can also be used for running around trains and running back in to Sydney Terminal, acting as a point-to-point layout. Now, what I was wrestling with was, how do I get both of these things on the board? In my previous iteration, I used a Y in this end to run off this board here and make a return loop plus a loop. But in problem solving, you got to not look at the end result. You got to ask yourself why you want it. And by considering that I only want the loop to be able to run trains in and test trains, I realized there's no need to connect the loop to the rest of the layout. So basically all I'm making here is a dual function board. And I need to be able to get the yard tracks onto the scenery part to run in to the terminal. And that's where these come in handy. By using 50mm blue foam, I'll be able to use this as a cutting to run the test loop in, while the yard runs over a small bridge onto the scenic section of the layout. This foam is a lot narrower than the baseboard I'm putting it on. When this was dismantled to be used as a trial session, also a storage location for all the wedding stuff, we actually shifted this about 300 mils towards this brick wall over here. And I really started enjoying how much space I have to walk through the train room and to sort of use this area with. So I want to keep that. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to cut down my current baseboard, which is about 920 mils, down to about 650 mils. So how about you watch me struggle to pull this apart? I think I've only screwed it all together. Trim it down and we'll put it back in place. So here we are with a completed peninsula. Well, the bones of a completed peninsula at least. That video sort of cut a bit short, but since that video I have shaped the end of this to be a bit less jarring. Let's just put some 45s on here and have cut the blue foam to sort of match the curves of the Kato Unitrack here. I've ended up going with 2 curves. One reason because I had almost enough track to do it. Had to buy basically 2 more radiuses, and thought, hey, it doesn't take up that much more space, and if it means I can test more trains, I can test more trains. I can just have more trains running, because sometimes just having that clickety clack in the background while you're working, can be quite nice. So here we are. Next step is track laying. So I've already got my turntable in. This was a nice little secondhand pickup. I think $15 maybe, real cheap. Just simple, was a Pico turntable. So that's embedded in the end here. And I've gone with a very generic and well-used technique of putting the turntable at the end of a peninsula. Another thing I want to show you is this, the Tomitech TM06R powered chassis. So that is for my S set. To get these was going to cost me like $100 shipped from Japan, or basically the same from a supplier if and when they can get it in. So I was having a chat to my mate who currently lives in Japan, and he popped into a train store for me and actually got me 2 for like, I want to say $30 each, maybe even less. So thanks, Pat. Definitely by far the best wedding present we got. Thanks to everyone else for your wedding presents. And thanks if you're watching this as well. I'm not sure how many of my friends actually do watch this, but yeah. Very happy with that. So that's one step closer to getting the S set up and running. Painting is probably the next big thing, but yeah, I'm not quite confident with that yet. But while I was down here, I also want to chat about some of my plans for this area now. So the peninsula isn't going to be modelling anywhere in particular. It is just an opportunity for me to practice lots of different things. But yeah, so basically turntable this end, we come in off the scenic section that end through here on this side, so on the inside, this is the U shape, I'll call this the inside, will just be yards. A number of the tracks will flow into the turntable here, so we can run around the trains without using points. Basically the locos can come in here, come off the train onto the turntable and back out again, or into storage, either way. And then some stub-ended tracks further along, which will be for the S set, an XPT when I pick it up, and other consists that don't need turning. And then my thought for this side, I've actually taken inspiration off a bit of local stuff here in Tassie, is the East Tamar Yard and Workshops. Basically East Tamar is the main hub for Tasrail in terms of the workshops, both locomotive and wagon rolling stock. And they've got a main yard, plus off that yard is the loco depot, the quick fix, the shops, and the rolling stock fixing. Rolling stock fixing, you know what I mean. So my thought was, instead of having a separate workbench over there, why not work in and where the trains are and model, but also do a workshop area. So for example, having a workshop shed here that would incorporate a rolling road into it already, and sort of from probably the inside would look like a shop, but from the outside would be open and allow me to work on the trains and test the trains and lubricate, replace things, whatever we've got to do on our locos. So I thought that'd be a fun thing to have here. And then further down, I'll slide them down here. Would be, I was thinking, a paint shop. So, you know, a place where we can actually push wagons in with a shunter that need to be repainted. Obviously, I've got to work out how am I going to protect the track and whatnot, and whether this is brush painting or spray painting. I haven't quite worked at that yet, but yeah. I thought, I've got this big space here. Again, from the inside, it might just look like a big multi-story building. And then from this side, it'd be opened up, where we can then get in and work on things. So yeah, any other ideas for what I can have, sort of what things you need to do to regularly maintain and look after and upgrade locos and rolling stock can be done from this end, I hope. So yeah, that's the thought there, sort of make this dual purpose and useful. So that'll do it for this update, guys. Hopefully the next one we will have a bit of track on the peninsula here, so we are able to run out of Sydney Yard around the end, in here, run around and go back again. A loop. We'll also have the actual loop, the Kato test track loop, wired up for DC and DCC. And I'm thinking I might also mock up some of the buildings that I plan on having in here, just to get an idea of the space and the track configuration that will be in this area. One thing I would invite you to do is comment down below what you model and where you're modeling from. I was chatting to a dad friend the other day, and he asked, sort of, you know, is the model railway community quite small? You know everyone, and I had to admit that I didn't know many people in the modelling community. So I'd love to hear from you guys and hear what you model. So yeah, on the side here now will be the playlist for this train room. So feel free to go check out some more if this is your first time here, or check out the channel for other videos I've done. And yeah, we'll chat to you next time. Cheers.